What is the crack? We are back, B2B Sports. Sam is here, as
Always.
always. Um, Been a bit of a chaotic week of sport. We'll probably jump into a bit of NFL first and get my teary boo sadness out of the way. We have got a live football game going on right now. I think it's
We do.
Palace United.
It is
So
Alexander.
we'll try and keep you updated with that. United are on a tear right now. They did beat City at the weekend. We'll deep dive into that a little bit later. But yes, NFL wildcard weekend playoffs. I'm still heartbroken, Sam.
I was going to say.
I'm
I mean, I
still.
know, I know. My predictions last week put the Vikings out, and it was a semi joke slash. It's just what the Vikings do. Played relatively well. I think Kirk actually had a good game, but yeah, your defense is awful.
Yeah, we played well on one side of the ball. The other side of the ball, the defense was absolutely horrific. And like we've seen many times this year, the secondary, the cornerbacks, the linebackers, we're 5, 6, 7 yards off the receiver when they catch the ball. We just give people way too much space. And it bit us in the ass again. But at US Bank Stadium, in Minnesota, home field advantage. A nice drive to start it off. Touchdown on first possession. Really got everyone going on offense. JJ had some not massively big plays, but he was getting touches, he was getting catches, working Dalvin as well, Dalvin Cook for some small yardage. Um, and then yeah, it was a bit tit for tat every time Vikings scored. Giants came back. Yeah, and mate, Saquon and Daniel Jones tearing it up.
Honestly, they were awesome. Daniel Jones having the game of his life.
Daniel Jones, props to you. Props to you. Like you really did surprise me that game. And Saquon, we know what Saquon's all about. He's absolute tank.
I mean,
But I don't actually think, in the grand scheme of things, they had a good game. But we made them look like flipping superstars. Like we just
yes, in a way. I mean, they did everything right and you did everything wrong when they were on offense. Um, I, you didn't make any plays on defense really. It was just a bit of a sorry state of fact. They were getting everything through. I mean, Saquon had what I know he only had 53 yards, but two touchdowns, was turning the defenders inside out. Daniel Jones ran for 78 yards.
it's
Like
mad. It's there was
letting
no
a QB scramble like that,
there was
especially with Daniel Jones isn't the most limber
Mate, he's not
QB.
Kyler Murray. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. So not to contain him is a bit of a shocker. Um, Getting Isaiah Hodgins getting 105 yards
Mate.
is a bit mad. But it was never not expected. I mean, you were what, 13-4, were you,
Yeah, 34.
in the season? But you had a negative points differential this
Yeah.
season. So obviously every game was close that you had the most games to see. I think you were what 11-0 in one score, one
Yes.
touchdown games.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, which is obviously a good record to have. But when most games this season go down to one touchdown, it can be a bit of a coin toss, and you come out on the good end of that. And I think it exposed the Vikings for what they probably were this season. They weren't a 13-4 team, I don't think.
No, no, if I have to put my honest cap on, yeah, people were calling Vikings frauds for their record, and were they as good as what their record says they are? I think Sam's probably hit the nail on the head. Like a lot of these one-score games come down to a coin toss, and if you actually have that ball at that perfect time in the fourth quarter, I mean, if you look at that 61-yard field goal from Greg Joseph, he had no right to
Yeah,
get to hit that kick in the first game that we played the Giants, and any other day that would have been missed. He's never hit a 61 yard field goal in his life. He's not
yeah,
Justin Tucker. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. And I text Sam and I was saying like our defense has been playing like this all year. There's no surprise other than a few big plays against the Buffalo Bills and other close games. The defense hasn't stepped up, and you know, in reality, I was clinging on to a little bit of hope that we'd have a little bit of a run. But if we had played like this against the 49ers, oh my days,
Honestly, you would have been absolutely destroyed.
we'd have been
Those
destroyed.
49ers, they probably have like their quarterback, Brock Purdy, is playing like a stud. They've got obviously Christian McCaffrey, who is on an absolute tear. Like we obviously all knew Christian McCaffrey was good, and the fact that he's just fitted into that offense seamlessly. I think he's got like 12 touchdowns at the moment. He's scored in pretty much every game. And then you got Deebo Samuel, who's just running the ball like a monster and catching it. They're unstoppable at the moment, and their defense is also solid.
Defense is unreal.
So I think, yeah, if you'd beaten the Giants, if you had to play San Francisco, you would have been destroyed.
We all knew that the Giants Vikings was going to be a close game. Obviously, I'd like to think that the Vikings would have been up, and it would have been the Giants trying to get that last touchdown. But we'll briefly touch on the 4th and 8 play from the Vikings. The last play of the game is the last roll of the dice for the Vikings, and it was an absolute catastrophe.
What was going on in their minds there? Like, who brought up that play on a 4th and 8?
I think if you really look at it deeply, I think that yes, it probably was a bad drawn up play, but I think the offensive tackle gets absolutely washed to one side. He's got pressure. Kirk has got pressure right in his face.
Yeah.
He's got JJ that's being double teamed. I think I looked at the screenshot. I think he's got KJ and Thielen that are like haven't created any separation. And in reality, yes, he should have just hospital ball it. Just hope for the best. But instead, he's done like a check down pass to TJ Hawkinson, who's about 4 yards off the stick. Sorry. And he just looks horrific. I think that the coverage and the offensive tackle didn't get the block in. That made it seem a lot worse than what it was. Yeah. But just hoy it in the air, man. If you got pressure in your face, just hoy it. If it gets intercepted or whatever, that's it. Don't just check it down.
It was just an underwhelming way to end it.
Exactly, and that's typical Vikings, man. That just sums up the Vikings. I saw Kay Adams, who's a really good American football presenter / journalist, and she said are the Vikings the most cursed, tortured fan base in all of NFL. I mean, we've had 31 playoff appearances. The last time we got to the Super Bowl was 1977, so that's 46 years ago, after 31 appearances. Every single season, well, not every season, but most seasons, they build up the fan base to have a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
It all comes crashing down again. And would you rather just be a team that just never gets into the playoffs and just
honestly
it's the same every year?
At the moment right now, you'd prefer to be a Detroit Lions fan.
Exactly.
Absolutely loving them.
But yeah, the Vikings kill me every single year, but we go again next year. Hopefully JJ still remains Viking. I know he's tied down, but I'm hearing some whispers that his wide receiver coach is getting tempted by some Patriots.
New England Patriots, which I think is good. I think your wide receivers are probably the best bet for you at the moment.
True.
So if we can nab your coach, that'd be great. The Patriots need an offensive coordinator. I mean, I think first choice for many is probably Cliff Kingsbury. But he's fucked off to Thailand. So
what? Sorry.
You've not heard that?
He just dipped off to Thailand, does he?
Yeah, so everyone's been asking where he's going to go, what he wants to do. And he literally booked a one-way ticket to Thailand and it's just gone I don't know, I'm going to Thailand. Bye. So he's having the time of his life.
Gone to live it up, mate.
Yeah. No, I think he'll be first choice as an OC, but I mean, we went with the tactic this year of not even having an offensive coordinator. So, it'd be just nice to have one, I think. And Matt Patricia learned how to play action pass and week 18. So
He's gone, isn't he? He's gone.
he's he's good. I think he will stay in the Patriots because he
Oh,
was a
is
good
he?
defensive. When he was our defensive coordinator, it was great. I think him and Belichick worked well defensively, but yeah, offensively not great.
Not great.
I think Mac Jones had like 13 touchdowns this season or something. It's a very low number.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, in the past, the quarterback doesn't normally get all the touchdowns, especially with the Patriots. But yeah, a bit disappointing. So fingers crossed next year brings better things.
We'll move on to one of the more exciting games of wildcard weekend. The Jags beat the Chargers 31-30. How on earth? They were 27-0 down.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like how have they done that? I
Unreal.
think
Trevor Lawrence threw three interceptions in the first quarter. Like it's
yeah,
just nuts.
and then I think they had the Chargers had 5 turnovers in total in the whole thing anyway. How they lost that game is
It's
beyond
beyond
me.
me.
They should never be losing that game.
They came out in the second half, didn't they? And they just went in with the intention of we're going to run the ball and try and chew the clock and play
Yeah,
conservative offense. They should have just gone for it, man. They should have just, threw the ball more and
yeah,
tried to go for the end zone instead of just going for the yardage.
honestly, and I think they may have had a missed field goal. I think at one point, and obviously there was all these. You can always say like, oh, if we got that, we would have won the game. But I don't think you see the Jags coming back from that far back in a playoff and they're both first playoff games, and yeah, unbelievable. But Trevor Lawrence is an absolute legend.
He's
I
what
hope they
guy.
do well against the Bills.
Yeah,
Chiefs, sorry.
there you go. Yeah, did he see? He went to the He just casually walked into a Waffle House after the game.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
got
what place to go? Why wouldn't you?
imagine just sitting there, just tucking into your pancakes, and then
Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence
Lawrence
walks
just
in.
comes in.
I'd be sick.
But yeah, I think for the Jags, I think that was their largest comeback in franchise history, and I think it was the third largest comeback in playoff history. So
Yeah.
props to the Jags, man. Fair play. And yeah, like we said, they've got a matchup with the Chiefs, the 1 seed now in the divisional round. So that'll be a tough game for them. But
What a win for the Jags that would be.
is Sam's prediction. He's hoping that they can get through to the championship game.
I mean, five out of six predictions.
Yeah, let's dive into that. We obviously covered our predictions last week. Sam did very well, to be fair to him.
Got
All
one wrong.
one wrong, and that's probably a key one to get to get
Yeah, they were my Super Bowl winners at the end of the day.
wrong.
Um,
Yeah,
I
so
think it was a long shot to have the Bucks winning, but
yeah, I mean, to
uh,
be fair though, a lot of people did back Brady. I don't
yeah,
think it was something like a mad stat like the Cowboys have never beaten.
he'd never lost. He's never lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah, never lost to the Cowboys. Yeah,
Yeah,
nuts.
obviously it's Tom Brady, but yeah, I don't think the Bucks haven't been there all season. Obviously, had a losing record and scraped into the playoffs, so not a surprise.
Did you see
Uh,
in that game that the Cowboys kicker missed three extra points in a
three
row?
straight extra
Three
points in a
straight.
row.
That is
Like they had
embarrassing.
like Peyton Manning being like, "What the hell is he doing?" I think he said on his podcast, like, "Can you cut somebody at halftime?" Is that a thing? Yeah, mental. But they didn't need it in the end. They absolutely battered them. Obviously, prayers go out to the Bucks receiver
Yeah,
who had that neck injury.
looked horrible, didn't
Looked quite like looked really horrible. So hopefully, I've not really heard much on it. I think it's a neck injury.
it?
So hopefully it goes well, especially so close after that DeMar Hamlin stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Um, Tom Brady obviously bows out with the Buccaneers. Do you see him coming back to the Bucks next year, or do you think he's going to retire, or where do you
I
think he's
don't
going to
know. See, like apparently Rob Gronkowski has talked to the Bucks and said he's bored. Classic Rob
go?
Gronkowski
The
style.
classic Gronk.
Said he's bored and is open to coming back even for a full season. So I feel like that could sway Tom Brady's mind in a
Hmm.
way. To get one of his best mates and best ever receivers out there. I don't think he's going to retire.
No,
I
do you
think
think he's
he
got
had.
one more year in him?
To be fair, for Tom Brady, he had a pretty sick season. I think he was up top in passing yards. Good amount of touchdowns. I think their defense has been a bit shit this season. I don't think Tom Brady's had any. I think he's had another like stellar. He set the record for most completions, I think.
Did he? My
Yeah.
God.
So he's still breaking records. Yeah, I don't think he's done.
I think the chance of this happening are quite slim, but imagine if he was to link up with like the 49ers, a team that is already there, it's got the defense, it's got the offensive pieces.
Yeah.
I'd feel peak for, they've got Trey Lance, they've got Brock Purdy, they've got Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Obviously they're three, we now know they're three pretty established, QBs. You don't get much stronger QB depth in the league than that.
Mm. To be
So
fair, Trey Lance has already shitting himself.
yeah, imagine.
Jimmy G, I think Jimmy G's already had a bit of a always had kind of been underrated and a lot of shit taken at him because he kind of can squib it in the big moments. But also it's not always been his fault. Like, so I think he's been hard done by. I think he still should be a QB1 somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll be at the 49ers for long. I think Trey Lance obviously never had a chance to kind of fully get a role anywhere,
no.
or even show anyone what he could do. So in terms of Brock Purdy coming in and absolutely bossing it, he's probably overtaken Trey Lance
It's
in
gonna be
that
so
depth.
close, man. Because obviously they traded for Trey Lance. You know what I mean? He's going to be their guy, and he
Yeah.
did have a good start to the season. But like you said, he didn't. He wasn't able to put enough.
Well,
Reps
if Walker got injured, he came in for one game, got injured again.
in.
Like it's one of those, a bit similar to ours when Mac Jones was injured, then Hoyer got injured, and then Bailey Zapp went off in a couple of games. So yeah, it's interesting.
Obviously the other games were the Bills beat the Dolphins. I mean, props to the Dolphins for staying in that game.
I know.
I don't know how they stayed in that game for like how close it was at the end. With
Everyone's shitting on Mike McDaniels, like he did something wrong in that game. It's
no,
like
surely
you were
not.
leading for part of it and almost came back. Like it was a close game against
You
the
know,
Bills
yeah, your
at the
third string
Bills.
quarterback, yeah, playing at the Bills. Do you know what I mean? Like,
A first string quarterback who had an awful week 18. He had a poor start to the game, but came into it and played sick.
he threw some dimes as well, and I think Waddle
Yeah,
dropped a couple as well. So it
yeah.
wasn't all on the Scala.
But Bills obviously come through once again.
Yeah, they're going to be a force to be
Mhm.
reckoned with, aren't they? They're going to.
Although I think their defense isn't always there. Like
No?
the Patriots scored a lot of points against them. The Dolphins scored a lot of points against them. Like I feel like the Jags have good weapons. They could get something from that game, definitely.
And you know, Josh Allen has a weakness. He's thrown quite a few interceptions this year, especially in the red
Yeah.
zone. I think he
Mm.
goes a bit too gung ho. Um, but yeah, and also don't get me started about that game. Tony Romo, mate, just get in the bin. I do not ever want to hear his voice talk about the Bills again, man. He was literally up their ass so much, man. Especially Josh Allen. He called him Michael Jordan. He called him an alien about 40 times. Um, yeah, yeah, Tony Romo getting a bin. And then the last game, the Bengals faced the Ravens. This is probably one of the games didn't really watch, to be honest. I just saw the mad play or towards the end.
The fumble
Where
recovery.
yeah, where the Ravens were on the 1 yard line or something like that,
Yeah.
and the running back tried to jump over the offensive lineman.
It was a QB sneak.
Was it QB sneak? Was
It was
it?
a QB
Fucking
sneak.
sneak.
But that's the thing. So Dobbins, the running back, has basically come out and said, if I had the ball, we'd have scored and won that game. He absolutely shitting on. I mean, it was a 2 yard QB sneak. Like that's
Mm.
hard to do the best of times.
And
Um,
to go over the top is quite difficult. A lot of the QB sneaks you dip your head and you go low, whereas
yeah,
you'd expect a running back to make the acrobatic leap over the top, not a quarterback.
yeah.
Um,
You need to go to the QB sneak school of Tom Brady there.
Tom Brady,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Knows how to get it done.
But the ball pops out, the ball gets punched out, and it pops straight up to a who was it? A Bengals like I don't know. He looked like a big dude.
I think, yeah, he was a big dude, but he could run
He
and
ran,
got
he
like
ran that.
98 yards.
He ran to the house. Yeah, it was great, an amazing play, absolute
Yeah.
scenes. And the Bengals got the job done 24-17. I was expecting a little bit more from the Bengals, to be fair, considering the Ravens didn't have Lamar, but I'm sure the Bengals are still going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think that's what the Ravens haven't had a great year all year. So
No, yeah. We'll cover some predictions. I know obviously we've talked about our bracket, but for the teams that have been knocked out, so you've got the Cowboys going through against
I
the
think Cowboys are playing the 49ers. I think the 49ers win that.
49ers.
And then the Eagles are playing the Giants.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think I'm the Giants getting it. Giants are winning that.
You
The
actually think the
if you
Giants
see
going
the
to do it?
stats of the last so since 2002, every time the Giants have made the playoffs, if they won their first game, they've won all of them, won the Super Bowl, or if they've been eliminated in the first game. So
Mad.
they've either won it all or gone out straight
Or
away.
lost it all, yeah.
So I'm the Giants are getting to the Super Bowl. Just putting that out there.
So your new prediction.
Yeah,
Move over Bucks. Giants are going all the way.
Giants are going all the way.
I
Daniel
love
Jones, MVP.
that.
That also brings me on to another thing. So Aaron Rodgers has come out and said about playing and what the future holds, and he's come out and said that he still feels like he can win an MVP, and that's ruffled a few feathers in
Mhm.
terms of players saying he shouldn't be saying like I still think I could win an MVP because it's an individual award. You get that obviously playing a whole season. You should be in it to win Super Bowls, not MVPs.
Not MVPs, you
That's
know.
what a lot of players have been saying. What do you think about that?
I yeah, I mean to be fair, I think Aaron Rodgers is a bit of an arsehole at times.
Mm.
So yeah, if I was a player, if I was a quarterback, I would be wanting to win some rings, man.
Yeah,
Not some awards. If the MVP award comes with it, then yeah,
yeah,
fair play. I'll take that. And also after the season that Aaron Rodgers has had, like he's been nowhere near MVP standards. So,
no,
go back to the drawing board, work
yeah,
hard. If you want to get back to that, don't make, outlandish statements. And to be fair, the Green Bay Packers have got a lot of rebuilding to do. So yeah, unless you go somewhere different, I don't know.
yeah. I also quite like
Yeah,
the stat that this year broke the streak of Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl every other year since like 2012 or something.
that's sad, man. That's
Yeah,
just
he literally won it, lost, then didn't win. Won a Super Bowl, didn't win a Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl, didn't win a Super Bowl. And this is the first time he's not won a Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
I saw like the average age of the 8 quarterbacks that are left in it is like 25.6. So we are truly in the new generation now. Like,
I also think that I think of all of the QBs that are left in, either on the NFC or AFC or even the whole thing, I think all of them went to the Manning like QB school.
did they?
Yeah,
That's pretty sick.
which is quite sick.
Manning's teaching all these kids everything that they know.
Honestly.
Yeah, we'll move on to a bit of football now. Score check in United game. You
Still
got it
nil
on in the
nil.
background. You got
Still
it
nil
on in the
nil.
background, have you?
Yeah, I do. United are on top.
Yeah.
Have a dangerous free kick at the moment. So fingers crossed. I think Rashford's taking it. So
All right.
Weghorst is playing.
Yeah. Oh, he
Uh,
started. He
he
started.
started. Had a good header that looped just over the bar. So it's a good start for United
Love that.
against a tricky opponent in Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Palace are a good side. They're a good solid side, but I think they've just been a little bit unlucky this year with the
Mm.
results and putting the ball in the back of the net. But they're a good side nonetheless. We'll talk about United then. Derby Day victory, mate. Did you
Bit
see
crazy,
that
isn't it?
coming?
I know nowhere near. Like the whole game, it was a bit scrappy, back and forth. Half time, we were like probably a bit even. Not been playing badly, but not been playing that well. Thought Rashford was going to go off injured at one point, but
Yeah, he did. He
things
was
carried
struggling.
on. And then 60th minute, they score. Like, oh, who saw that coming? I was a bit down, not gonna lie. I was like, it's probably not going to be out. We can probably get a draw out of this. Did not see a complete turnaround. Obviously, there's questions about the goal. there are big questions about the goal.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And I think as most Man United players have said, like if we were on City side, we'd probably be arguing too. I think it's hard to ignore the fact that Rashford was there.
Yeah, that's true.
They all thought Rashford was getting to the ball, so I think it was a bit lucky on our part.
Wow, honest, Sam, honest from United
Yeah,
fan.
I think it was lucky. I feel like he obviously didn't touch it, and they were running that way towards the ball. It's tough. It's tough. Um, I'm quite surprised that VAR didn't. Oh my word, what a save! De Gea with absolute fingertip save onto the bar.
Wow, love that.
Insane. But yeah, I think that goal obviously spurred us back into it a bit more, and then Garnacho is playing awesome, putting out on a plate for Rashford, who just about gets back on side this time.
Jeez.
Yeah, what a game! Gets us within 1 point of City, and a bit closer to Arsenal, but even though they're still
Well,
away.
well,
But
you needed Tottenham to do you a bit of a favour, but
yeah,
they
Tottenham are
did
shit.
they didn't.
Oh, they were so bad in that game.
They were terrible.
Oh,
Arsenal were all over them,
yeah,
absolutely all over them. I
they couldn't
watched
get
the
anything
first
going.
half of that. They didn't even have a sniff, Tottenham.
No,
Just,
no. Like Thomas Partey absolutely almost scored one of the goal of the seasons.
mm,
And then Odegaard scored a cracking finish. Everyone's having to go at Lloris for the first goal. I think is a bit harsh. I don't think he's ever
it's,
expecting that to come straight at him.
yeah, it took a slight deflection, didn't it? And it's like
Right
sort of
deflection, come
no,
straight
it's
at
like,
him, and he's just a bit of a flap, but he's unlucky with the deflection off himself, and it goes in. So I think that's a bit harsh to be able to go in, but yeah, Tottenham are shit. Arsenal again looking like proper contenders.
mate, Odegaard is such a baller. Honestly, he's so good. He was meant to be, a few years ago, he was tip 20, got signed, picked up by Real Madrid, tipped to be the next wonder kid. I think he struggled for game time, went on loan to was it Sociedad or somewhere like
Yeah.
that. He went to Arsenal, and honestly, he's so
The fact that
good.
Arsenal managed to get him is like testament. I'm surprised he didn't go somewhere else because they weren't great at the time.
No,
And the fact that Arteta wasn't sacked during that period where he'd lost like 10 out of 11 games or whatever, um, I've not seen anything like that for
no.
a while.
Take note, Chelsea. Take note. United have scored just
Nope.
as we were having a little bit of a
Honestly,
break.
you turned it off and they scored. It was like instant.
The Zoom call only lasts like 40 minutes or so, and then just as I was sending Sam a new link, they scored.
It was a pretty goal, but it wasn't anything too special. But just cut them apart quite well. And yeah, United can continue their fine form.
Love that. United. Well, you would have thought it at the start of the season.
I
United would
think
be
this
up
will be like
there.
not a 10th game, a 10th win in a row.
Yeah, incredible form. Kind of makes you get a wonder if like Ronaldo was the problem. I mean,
To be fair, he might. I think the timing is a bit like it adds in a bit. I think it was a bit Ronaldo and a bit. I don't think Ten Hag had quite got his tactics down, or not his tactics, but his mentality down. I think bringing in Casemiro has done wonders.
oh yeah, Casemiro,
Um,
what a purchase.
Apparently he's like having chats with all the players. If anyone needs anything, they go to him, and basically being a mentor to everyone.
The agony aunt
Um,
in United.
honestly. And I think that's what they expected Ronaldo to be, a bit more than he was. Um, so unfortunate that it didn't happen with Ronaldo, but I think, yeah, Casemiro's been an absolute godsend. Um, and the fact that the whole team's playing so well together right now is it's really exciting to watch, and they're playing exciting football. Rashford's back to his best.
Yeah.
Ericsson is just an absolute maestro, as
And also,
always.
also going back to Casemiro, he's the linchpin, and he's allowing, Bruno to be Bruno again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's allowing to
yeah,
Bruno to
exactly.
be, that attacking midfielder that, makes them runs and gets to the edge of the box. And,
Yeah,
it's good to see, to be fair. It's good to see.
yeah. So having kind of Casemiro and Ericsson in the middle, kind of sitting back, and I mean Ericsson's still playing forward, but Casemiro mainly staying back, and it's just allowed us to play with so much more freedom.
Yeah.
Getting Rashford out wide. Sancho's back in training, so he'll be back running down the right. Wan-Bissaka's playing again some of his best football. Even with the ball at his feet, he's playing quite well. Got past 3 City defenders the other day. So yeah, he's got everyone playing really well. So I'm very excited about what's coming. Obviously, I think we're technically the only team that could still win a quadruple. So been out there.
Big shout,
Been
Sam.
out there. Can still win the Prem, can still win the Carabao Cup, can still win the FA Cup, and can still win the Europa League.
Calm yourself, lad.
So it's coming. It's coming. We haven't won a trophy in a long time. So I feel this year's the year, and also I think, to be fair, I think Carabao Cups are probably our best chance.
Mm.
In terms of, I think we're playing Nottingham Forest next in the semi, and I've got Leicester and probably the other team that are in it still. No, Leicester aren't in it. They're also Nottingham Forest.
Who are they?
Um,
Mate, to be honest, I've switched off of all cup competitions because Chelsea have got knocked out so early. So I don't,
every single one.
they don't exist to me this season.
No, true. I mean, the underdogs beat Crystal Palace last weekend, so
We did. The underdogs. Wow. Is that what we are? It actually took me a while to process what you're on about. But yeah, we actually finally got a win. Wow, can you believe it? Kai Havertz with a header. He wasn't actually playing that well, to be honest, but he still popped up with a goal. And like I said about Crystal Palace, they were playing really well, but they just didn't take their chances. One of Chelsea's new defender signings, as Sam likes to mention, we've signed about I don't know how many, but
you signed a whole new team of defenders.
yeah.
Todd Bowley has spent 400 million since he came in.
He's playing, mate. He's playing in like football career mode. Like this is...
I don't understand because Chelsea had no interest in Mudryk until Arsenal were like, we want him, and then Todd Bowley's like, okay, 100 mil then, and then Arsenal were like, well, we only wanted to pay like 70, so have him. Yeah, very odd.
8.5 year deal, Sam.
That's the maddest bit.
8.5 year deal.
Who for one, who signs an 8.5 year deal? He looks like he signed it at gunpoint, to be honest.
He's smiled, but I don't know whether that is because there's a lot going on back in Ukraine right now, or if it's just genuinely a stern-looking bloke. He might be.
To be fair, he's only ever said how much he wanted to join Arsenal. The only reason he hasn't joined Arsenal, I think, is because Arsenal came out of the running because of the price, and like probably his agent got a good deal with the Chelsea. So
yeah, this deal, there's a lot going on in the surface. Like obviously there's money that is going to Ukraine, and there's also going to be a charitable friendly match in Ukraine with Chelsea. There's also, obviously the money is going to be spread across 8.5 years. So I think he's on about 97k a week, which is less than like Callum Hudson-Odoi when he was at Chelsea. So, when you look at that, it's not actually, he's not on 300k a week. He's not on anything silly.
No.
But it's still a hell of a lot of money for a guy that's unproven. He's rapid.
The guy that scored, what is it, 6 or 9 goals in 4 years?
Don't know.
Well, let's go with 9. Let's be optimistic. 9 goals in 4 years.
But yeah, he's rapid. Like all I know about the kid that he's absolutely rapid. I think he's clocked the quickest Champions League speed this season at 36.2 kilometers per hour, whatever it is, whatever they measure the speed in.
You can track back quickly then.
You can track back quickly. He's gonna hopefully he doesn't give me Mo Salah vibes when Chelsea first signed Mo Salah, because Salah was rapid, but he couldn't hit a barn door. And then Chelsea sold him to Roma, and look at him now. So I'm hoping that he's going to be a bit of a speed demon like Salah.
Chelsea do have a knack of buying a good player, letting him go, and then becoming the best in the world. De Bruyne is another one.
De Bruyne, yeah. Lukaku for a brief period until we brought him back again.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, also Todd Bowley, like shout out to him. Apparently, there's a big Chelsea fan on Twitter. I think he's called Connor or something like that, Con, and he's got like 200 odd K followers. And after the Crystal Palace game, he does like Twitter Spaces, where all the fans would just jump in there and have their say about the game. The official Todd Bowley Twitter account joined his Twitter space, and we're just like listening in on what the
Yeah,
fans had to say.
he wants to know who he needs to buy next. Literally,
He's
they'll put
rubbing it
they'll say like Neymar, and he'll be like, all right, I'll give it a go.
in. Up next, I've been hearing 80 mil for Casado from Brighton, the midfielder from Brighton. 80
Oh
mil,
yeah, 80.
80.
Fucking hell, he's on one.
Yeah, unreal.
See, like fair play. He's investing. I feel like he's investing so quickly. But yeah, hopefully it works out. But I'm quite enjoying this period of time where Chelsea and Liverpool are shit.
Now we're turning it around now, mate. We're going on a 10 game winning
Yeah,
streak
I
like
need you to
United
have
are.
like 4 years like we did
But
of not
four
winning a
years.
trophy. 4 years at least,
Oh, I don't know about that one. Don't know about that one.
definitely.
Did you see what happened in the Newcastle Fulham game? The Mitro slip.
Yeah, he kicked it onto his own foot.
Peak, man. Double contact. So he took the penalty, slipped. Double contact, so he kicked the ball onto his other foot or something like that,
Yeah,
and he scored, and it was disallowed, obviously because double contact. But yeah, that's peak for him. That was so...
very peak. Yes, but I mean, I have Nick Pope as my goalkeeper on fantasy football, so I was quite happy. Get the
Love
clean
that.
sheet.
Kept a clean sheet. Kept a clean sheet. Yeah, fantasy football. I triple captained Haaland,
Oh,
blanked against United. He's
I
got
mean,
another
he's got
game
another
week.
game. He's got another game.
So he needs to bag me at least two or three to make it
God.
worthwhile.
Yeah, but they've got Spurs.
You've got Spurs. Spurs are shite. Let's be...
I know, but Spurs can pick out a game where they do well
Yeah,
every now and then, and
yeah.
they like to play well against City.
Or Pep roulette. Pep will just drop
Yeah,
him for no reason because it's double game week.
true. Might as well get Alvarez in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a bit nervy about that. I've not had the best of weeks to be fair. Struggling in cup competitions. I think going out in some
I
of
think
the
I'm out of all mine except from one.
the England ones. I think I'm out going out of that one. And then Everton lost again to Southampton. Do you reckon Lampard's got to go? He's got
He
to go.
has to. Like he's never shown any sort of fight for getting a team to do better. Like they're not even look like they're playing well. You've got what was it, Yerry Mina getting shouted at by fans
Yeah,
by his car,
fans in the street.
and saying like if we get relegated, you're gonna leave. And all likelihood, yes.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
probably will.
he can stand there saying, "No, I'm focused on getting it." But in all likeliness, he's not. Yerry Mina's a decent centre back.
Yeah,
Gonna he's not gonna stay in Championship
no,
football
no
for.
way, no way. But yeah, it's when shit hits the fan. Frank Lampard doesn't have a backup plan. He doesn't have like another way of playing. He's
No,
tactically, not there. I don't think to be a Premier League manager. Go to
no.
Celtic or Rangers. And
Do a Gerard.
get some wins in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got some big games coming up this weekend. Got Man City, Spurs tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
Got Chelsea, Liverpool. What a
I
game
mean,
on
you say,
Saturday.
oh, what a game! It's gonna be a 0-0.
What
Everyone missing the target
it's
completely.
the mid
It's
off.
gonna.
Like,
I mean, to be fair, it's United Arsenal this weekend, so
exactly, yeah. That is Sunday. That is a huge game.
it's
Also,
a big
fair play
game.
United. Obviously, you got Crystal Palace in the middle, which in their current form you'd expect them to beat. But you had City and now Arsenal coming up.
Yeah. And it's a tougher run of games, and I mean, if we can get a result against Arsenal, it's a bit of a 6 pointer that.
That is, but yeah, he's
I think City have to play Arsenal twice still.
they do, yeah, they do in the league.
Um, so yeah, I mean,
All to play for, mate.
mate,
All
we'll
to
get going in
play
the
for.
Prem.
Tennis, mate. Australian Open is
It
going
has
down.
begun.
I am well into it this year because of one program, Breaking Point. He's got me back into tennis. If there's just a sport which I keep an eye on, on a brief basis, just
Mm,
make a TV series out of it. F1,
okay.
I'm a fan
I know
now.
you're going to be full on tennis fan
I'm
now.
a full-on tennis fan. Some of the big stories throughout the week, Sam. What's happened? Murray.
Murray, absolute legend. Gets a tough draw playing Berrettini. I think for like the 100th time. He seems to play Berrettini every single
all the
week
time.
at a big tournament. Um, tough game. Wins the first two sets, playing out of his skin. Berrettini wins the third and fourth set. Berrettini has match point in the fifth set and somehow hits it into the middle of the net, like awful shot. Murray plays a drop shot, comes into the net. Wasn't a great drop shot. Berrettini gets there with plenty of time and just smacks it into the net. So he got away with one. Takes it to a tie break in the fifth, and just sails away with it for a bit. And Murray wins his first round match.
Wow.
So I'm absolutely buzzing.
Would you say this is the biggest victory for him since his new hip? Would you say, Berrettini?
Um, I don't think so. He's won a tournament since his new hip. So I think that's probably his biggest triumph so far.
Mhm.
I think the fact that Berrettini is obviously quite high up in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Murray beat Berrettini last season in a final, so he can do it. But this, I think, because it was 5 sets, I think he'll take a bit more pride in it.
Mhm.
The fact that it's the Australian, it's a
Yeah,
major.
it's a major. Yeah, that's true.
I definitely think he's loving it. He's got Kokonakis next.
Yeah, which he's Kokonakis is the teammate to Kyrgios. They won the doubles
They
last
did,
year, I think it was.
yeah.
Yeah, that was on Breaking Point. Yeah, he's that's going to be interesting. Would you expect Murray to beat him or?
I think so. I think Kokonakis isn't his strength is doesn't lie in singles too much. I think he's more of a doubles player. Um, so I think he can beat him. He definitely has the ability. I think Murray has the ability to beat anyone on tour at the moment. I think the biggest news at the moment is obviously Nadal today.
Out, mate.
Unfortunately, getting beaten. With an apparent hip injury, he couldn't hit his backhand and he couldn't run. But he still, I think he said came out in the end said, I didn't want to retire just because defending champion, don't
Mm.
want to keep fighting. Fair play, but yeah, he got battered in 3 sets.
He looked a bit upset as well, didn't he? As the older you get, these injuries are harder to come back from.
Yeah,
And if it is his hip, that's quite, you know,
yeah, have to get a new one like Murray.
I know, yeah, come back. But and also, I was keeping an eye on Emma Raducanu. She was playing Coco Gauff
Yeah,
this morning. Coco Gauff made it look relatively easy in the first set. Second set, hell of a battle. Went to a tie break. But just a couple of unforced errors.
yeah,
Yeah, which sent Coco Gauff through 2 sets. But you still got Cameron Norrie still in there.
yeah.
Obviously, you got Murray tomorrow. Obviously, Tsitsipas and Medvedev looking pretty good. Um, yeah, and what are the women's number one? She's obviously through as well.
She's doing it. Yeah, she's battering people left, right, and centre as usual.
Yeah,
Djokovic was obviously still in it,
Djokovic. Yeah,
battering people left, right, and centre. So yeah, we'll see. I think it is Djokovic's tournament to lose. It's his favourite place to play. But I think Murray's winning it this year. So
mate, imagine what side of the draw they're in. Is Djokovic got a pretty clear draw to the final? Is he?
I
Or
think
is
they're
he?
on opposite sides of the draw. So
I don't know. Okay.
and now I don't know where Djokovic was seeded. So but I think he may be in the opposite side to Murray and Nadal.
We moved to a bit of boxing UFC. I don't know if you saw some, but there was a Misfits
Yeah,
boxing event. we love a
it's
bit.
happening.
We love a bit of it. A bit of these. A bit of these amateur fights, celebrity boxing fights. Did you watch any of it? Did you keep an eye on whatever was
Not
going?
live. I mean, I saw KSI's knockout. Pretty good.
Pretty
Uh,
brutal, to be fair. Pretty
pretty
brutal.
brutal. Yeah. Um, who else was there? I think I missed most of the others.
There's one guy that I want to mention, mate. Salt Pappy.
Salt, Salt Pappy he's so sick.
Salt Pappy is the guy, mate.
Did
He's
he win?
You have to watch the fight, mate. He fought
Really?
some dude who's absolutely jacked, massive dude, probably about a couple of inches taller than him, ripped, looked like an absolute like Adonis. Yeah, good boxer as well. Came out with a
Yeah.
long jab, mate, Soul Pappy was just too quick for him. Like
Really?
left hook knockout. It was so good. It was
Oh
so
shit.
good. Knocks him right flat on his ass. Didn't make the 10. Didn't make it up for the 10 count. But yeah, won by knockout, mate. Salt Pappy is the guy.
Yeah.
And you've got proper boxers commenting on his Instagram saying like, you should make it pro. Like you should go pro. Like he's actually
Yeah.
so
That's mad.
he's actually so good, mate. He's so quick as
I'll
well.
watch that. I'll see if it's on YouTube. His knockout.
It's like, you know, he's proper like shithouser. He's proper talking to him, doing all these like putting your arm down, like you're too slow, all this kind of shit. Like, honestly, you have to watch it. He's so good. And I think he's miles better than KSI, you know,
Yeah.
miles better than KSI. But yeah. And also there was another good fight. Tom Zanetti fought this guy called Slim, and it was literally like a like an absolute slugfest.
Really.
Zero technique, but like haymakers left, right, and
Jesus.
centre. But yeah, that was good. It was a good watch, to be fair. In other UFC news, did you hear about Francis Ngannou? He's
Yeah, didn't get a contract, did he?
yeah, he's officially a free agent. He's turned down the UFC offer, which would have made him the highest ever paid heavyweight in the history of the company, more than Brock Lesnar, more than
Really?
John Jones. Yeah, and he's turned it down. Obviously, Jake Paul's raised this before that the UFC doesn't pay their fighters near enough as what boxing or any other MMA
Mm.
promotion would pay. And I think he's you know, he raised concerns over health insurance for fighters. Apparently, that's a big thing.
Yeah,
In
so
case,
he was apparently he did an interview and he said he basically asked for like I said health insurance. I think he even said like he'd take less money.
yeah,
Um and it just wanted health insurance, wanted these guys to just to be in a better position.
I think
He said he was quite happy that he's made quite a bit so he can afford health insurance, but
yeah, for sure.
obviously America's a fucked up place where you need to pay tons of money just to get help. So yeah, bit of a shame because I think I feel like he's somebody they should have kept on
I
no
mean,
matter what.
yeah, the UFC is the biggest MMA organization in the world, and everyone watches it on these big events. So it is a shame they're losing him, but you know that does now free him to make a crossover super fight with potentially like I don't know Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury
Yeah,
if he really wants to. Um, but also like, is this going to pave the way for other fighters to leave? And you know, I think there's a organization that Jake Paul's um joined or co-owns at the minute, and they pay their fighters way more than UFC, and it's just like a pay-per-view kind of thing. So
yeah,
it could potentially leave the door open for more UFC fighters to leave and look for money or look for better
yeah,
healthcare or like just an dedicated, advocate for all the fighters like rights and needs, you know. So
yeah. No, definitely.
and
I hope he gets what he needs somewhere.
or talking staying on the heavyweight theme, John Jones is apparently back, and
Is it
obviously
taking drugs?
no, he's back fighting.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So obviously Ngannou was the heavyweight champion. He's vacated his belt. He's left the UFC. So John Jones is going to be fighting for the heavyweight belt against
Oh,
Cyril
really?
Gane. I don't know when that's going to be. I think it's UFC 285, which I
Hmm.
don't know when that is, but he's back. He's going to be fighting. So a lot of people are going to be watching that fight. So it should be
John
interesting.
Jones, he's obviously a great fighter.
Yeah,
A
one of the
lot of
best.
controversy in the past, but um, yeah, he probably licking his lips a bit when Ngannou was like, "Yeah, I'm
Ngannou
not."
left. Yeah, you wouldn't want to fight Ngannou, would you? Either like,
No,
I'd
oh
rather take
God, no.
Cyril Gane over Ngannou.
Yeah, 100%.
And then also last bit of UFC news, it's been announced that Leon Edwards is fighting
Mm,
Kamaru Usman in London in March. So that is definitely an event to keep
right.
an eye on. Obviously, I'm going to try and get tickets. Definitely not going to get any, but
No,
we shall try, try anyway.
it's always ridiculous. Yeah, it's almost like the NFL. I feel like
Yeah,
the NFL is easier for some reason.
yeah. The NFL, I think I don't know why. I think
Probably
obviously
more seats.
more seats. Yeah, the O2 is a smaller venue, and obviously there's more games as well. NFL, it's
That's
like
true.
2 or 3 games. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. You got any shockers or hero heroes of the week? Or
Um,
we haven't talked about the FA Cup FA Cup scenario last.
oh, definitely. I think BBC having a shocker of the week. What absolute legend puts a phone back there and plays just basically porn over the speakers? Like that's
I
that's a
didn't
that's
watch
a,
it.
that's a high level prank. That
Did you watch it live? I didn't watch
no,
it.
I
I
didn't watch
just
it
saw
live.
it.
I just was on Twitter at the time, and it came up, and I was like, "That's insane. That's incredible. Love it. Love the balls."
It was going, love the balls. It was going on for ages as well. Like
Yeah,
absolutely ages. And what made me laugh is they were just trying to do the normal. They were like obviously Gary Lineker was laughing and stuff, but they were trying to present over the top, and it just was
yeah.
like
Well,
just
I love Alan Shearer's like everything's going off here, lights gone off, Danny Murphy's phones keep going off.
I didn't even say that.
Yeah. So they made got like jokes about it and everything, which I think is the only thing you can do.
No, yeah.
Um, but yeah, hilarious.
I
Great fun.
heard
But the floodlights went off. It was a bit of a shambles altogether.
I didn't see the floodlights go off, to be fair. I didn't
Yeah, so
know.
in the first like 30 seconds, the floodlights just turned off in the middle of a Traore cross.
What the hell? In the middle
Just
of the
went pitch
game.
black. Yeah.
I heard Ali McCoy's talking about on Talksport, and they were talking about obviously what happened on the FA Cup show. He said, "Sadly, I've never heard that kind of sound in my life." It's like, what a guy!
Ali McCoy is an absolute legend.
What a guy!
He's
But
commenting at every football match ever.
yeah, he's actually a great commentator and an even better sort of talk show host as well. Him
Mm.
and Laura Woods go really well together.
Yeah.
My shocker has got to be Ed Donatel, the defensive coach of the Vikings. Just couldn't, 420 yards. I think they had the Giants can't stop anything, and it was like that all season. And if we don't sack him, I'm going to be highly disappointed. Highly disappointed. Um, Hero, it could be Ali McCoist. It could be, that shocker could be Hero and shocker of the week to be fair.
Sure.
I saw a weird thing that in the international Dubai T20 League, I think it is, in cricket, they've given James Vince, who's the
Shit,
current
yeah.
the current leading run scorer, a belt.
Yeah. Like a WWE massive belt.
Like a WWE belt, which is absolutely hilarious. Why?
Absolutely.
Who
But
created?
what I don't understand is like obviously in like the IPL they have a cap and you wear the cap if you're the leading run scorer, wicket taker, or whatever. The fact that it's a belt doesn't mean you can really wear it that often. Like during a game, is he wearing this massive belt?
It's just
Um, I don't really get it. And
he's
obviously, if
got
the next person gets it, like overtakes him, they have to then get this belt.
belts.
That's so much easier.
Like there's a photo on Twitter, and he's just standing there in like with this belt on over his shoulder, just looking so confused. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But yeah, that's also pretty funny. Um, but yeah, any more sports stories, or is that it, Sam, for the week? So,
So, we still haven't found out who the Enigma is
oh
on
yeah, the
no
Kings.
PKs.
Yeah,
I really want to know who it is.
there's been some beef, haven't you heard, with PK and Shakira? Apparently,
Well,
like
yeah, I think there's always going to be beef. Like, she obviously brought out this diss track, basically, saying like he traded a Rolex for a Casio. He comes in wearing a Casio.
Yeah.
Traded a Rolls Royce for a Twingo. Rocks up to the Kings League in a Renault Twingo. It's absolutely so much pettiness. It's great.
So much shithousery. But yeah, I've understand the Kings League a little bit more. It makes a little bit more sense to me now. But yeah, we need to find out who the Enigma is. I want to find out who it is.
I want to know what their club does when they find
When
out.
they find out, it's definitely going to be like some like La Liga B team.
Oh yeah,
He's not
I
going to
mean
be.
you've got like Aguero playing in this league, and
I don't
there's
think.
some big names.
I don't know if Aguero's actually playing. I think he's like a team president,
Oh, he played
supposedly.
in one of the games. He scored.
Aguero.
Yeah, he was playing.
When we talked about it last week, I was like, surely you can't play. He's got a heart, like he's had to stop for a heart condition or whatever, like an
Yeah,
underlying heart
professional
issue.
football, but this is just like a like five-side league, basically.
I suppose so. I suppose so.
And Christian Eriksen's playing. Ten Hag is intent on running him to the ground because he plays 90 minutes
Yeah,
every
true,
week.
true that. Also, the one thing I find hilarious about his Kings League is, the way they kick off. It's like that sprint to the ball, and they just
Yeah.
boot the ball at each other. Like that is an injury waiting to
I think
happen.
it's a great idea for a league. Great bit of fun.
It's a good bit of fun. It's definitely got people talking, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wraps up the podcast. Episode 13 or 14 done. We'll probably be back next week to talk a bit more about the NFL and what happened in the divisional games. But yeah, enjoy the weekend of sport. I'm looking forward to that United Arsenal game now, so that should be good. Yeah, and we'll catch you again next week. So in a bit. Peace.